What's up, folks? Today is September the 10th, 2024. So I am Eric. Again, this is the channel Success Over Stress. So I do a lot with marketing. I do a lot with programming. I like TradeStation because they have EasyLanguage, so I can program with that. EasyLanguage is not the most robust programming language. It's not as intuitive, but for me being a new programmer, it does a lot. And I kind of came into it with this, so this is what I know. All right, but otherwise, talk about the market. We talk about stuff dealing with fun, professional fun, healthy fun, that kind of thing. So today, what we're going to do is go over again the fundamental quotes provider. I think I went over this a little bit a week or two ago, but just kind of think about earnings and how actual stocks that make up the indexes and futures and everything actually have a large impact on what happens, with futures. I want to stay in front and on top of what's going on with each individual account or futures, all the stocks. So anyway, let's go over here. We're going to open up the development environment. I haven't done a live in a while, but this is going to be pretty short. I'm trying to keep them fairly short and concise and stop running my mouth so much. Y'all know I can run my mouth. So I'm going to try to keep this somewhat concise. I've kind of been over it already, and hopefully I can get it done before too many other distractions start happening around the house. Okay, so one of the first things I'm going to do is we're going to bring over from the toolbox, we're going to bring over the fundamental quotes provider. Click that, double tap it, and then we're going to change the name of it to FQP. Just shorten it up a little bit there. And then the symbol, we're just going to leave it whatever the symbol is. And I already have been through this, like I said, so I'm just going to paste these two here. One of them is the I think it's the most recent quarter reporting period. So it's the date of the reporting. And then this one here is I think it's the earnings per share amount. Hang on. All right, daughter got some good grades, so that's a good thing. So we're gonna celebrate that here in a minute. Like I said, it's only going to take about 5 minutes or so. All right, so what I'm going to do here is we're going to open up one of these workspaces. It's just Apple for the daily time frame. We have already brought over the fundamental quotes provider. That's FQP. We need to make sure that we load it. That's true. Real time symbol. Yes. Okay, so we're going to say and let's just kind of let's print it to the screen so you can see what it does first. So if last X, then print. Now, last X is a function I created for the last bar on chart. You should have been on one of the other streams. You would have saw how I did that. So if last one bar on chart, then we're going to print fundamentals quote provider fqp.quote, and it's the second one which makes it the first index in the quote string. And so and that is a date value last. I don't know if I need to do toString or not. FQP quote 1. Yep, it wanted the last. Okay, so you see here it says 6/29, so that means that on June 29th, that's when the I guess the quarter ended. So they probably did the report on the 30th. All right, so we zoom out here. 630 is somewhere in here. All right, so we're going to say the problem with this, though, this is what I ran into. So it took me a little bit more time to figure out exactly how I want to do this. The problem with this is that 629 does not happen on this daily chart. 629 was probably like a Saturday or something like that. So 628, 620, nope, 701. So this 629 does not occur on the chart. So we could say if date is equal to FQP dot quote of 1 dot date last value. Okay. All right, date last value. I don't think we need to string there because we're not printing it. So we just leave it date last value. And then we do then plot 1, we're going to plot the high. Okay, so we verify that. The last value, not a member. Okay, all right, so if date is equal to the last date value, then we're going to plot the high. What is this not liking? It's not liking date last value. All right. Date value last. I'm sorry. Okay, so we click that. All right, so then so what we want is we want to get this to plot when we get that 629 roll around, right? Or the 629 roll around. Well, unfortunately, 629 does not happen on the chart. So what we can say is if we're checking every bar, and if the bar so happens to be greater than that 629 bar, then we're going to go ahead and plot. Let me show you what's wrong with that. Okay, so we'll say if date is greater than or equal to that last value, then we're going to plot. All right. Okay. All right. Let me show you one thing here, guys, because this is one thing that you got to understand. Date. So print date. Look at this date. You see the way these dates are written out? This is an EL date. So EasyLanguage date. This is their format. Starts with the number of years since, I think, the year 1900. The number of years since the year 1900. And then it has the month and then the day. So this obviously goes back to 2022, which, yeah, goes back that far. Okay, so but you see here what's printing out of the fundamental quotes provider. Not only do they give you the date, but they also give you the hour, right? So the time. So we need to get only the time, only the date from this. So how do you go from date here to only the date here instead of date and time? You still use date value last, and then you do dot el date, right? So then when you verify, now you're comparing the date, the el date format, which is this format, to the el format of this value, which now you can compare apples to apples. So now all these fire up, right? But all these fire up, we don't want all these fire up. We just want the next immediate day to fire up, or that previous day, either one. It depends on how you code it, but we want that next day to come up. So in order to get only that next day to come up, we're going to use a couple of things here. So first of all, we can get rid of this print because it's just extra. But if we do so happen, and we don't need this print statement here, if we do so happen to get the date that's greater than the earnings date, then we're going to plot the high. But we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We're going to do a begin, and then that'll be in there, but we'll have another statement in here. We're going to have something called just called tripped, right? So did we trip a switch? Did we flip a switch? Oh, maybe we call it flipped. Okay, so flipped is going to equal true. So this is just saying that yes, we did get we got a plot, and then we're going to flip the switch to true, right? So once the switch is flipped to true, then we're not going to plot this anymore. So not only does date have to be greater than or equal to this earnings date, but it also, and flipped, has to be equal to false. Then we can do it. All right. And now how do we initialize? Well, first of all, we got to bring flipped in as a Boolean, right? But how are we going to start it? We're going to start flipped being false. Okay. So when it comes to the chart, it's false. So that means that when you do get to that date where your date is finally greater than or equal to the earnings date, and flipped is false, which it will be at the start of the chart. Then you'll go ahead and plot, and then immediately you'll turn flipped to true. And now that flipped is true, it won't be allowed to come back into this function. Okay, so we verify. All right, so now you see we only get that one dot there. Now, so this is going to be important. Like I said, for me, pretty much what I'm looking for is that I'm going to take this symbol here. I'm going to take that symbol. You see where Apple is firing off here right on 701, right? So we're going to take the symbol. We're going to leave the symbol the same. No, I'll tell you what. Let's bring this to Microsoft. Bring this to Microsoft. And Microsoft's earnings date was right here. Well, it's still 701. So let's find another one that's not even similar. So NVIDIA was 729. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look for that earnings date of Microsoft or Apple, right? So instead of just using the symbol of whatever chart we're on, we're going to use the symbol of Microsoft because we're interested in Microsoft to superimpose that over top of what's going on with NVIDIA. Now, instead of just typing Microsoft, you got to put it in capital as well, unless that's changed, MSFT, and it's got to be in quotations because there's a string. So now when we verify, now you see the dot change to here, right? So the dot changed to here because this is actually referencing Microsoft's earnings date. Remember, NVIDIA was over here somewhere. So, you have to take this a step further and do a little bit more with it. Or you could just do, let's see, can you copy this? Let's copy that, paste it. I didn't know you could copy. All right, so we're going to call this chart FQP. Chart FQP. And then we're going to leave FQP as Microsoft. We're going to turn chart FQP to symbol, to whatever symbol is actually on the chart. Hit that. All right, so now what we got is, now we just need to repeat what we have here, or you could do it in a method or something like that. But you're just going to copy that, paste it, change this FQP to chart FQP, and we need to have maybe flipped, like chart flipped, because you need another variable because it's going to get flipped as well. Chart flipped, and then we need to change the plot, so we using the second plot. Okay, now we need to have a new variable, chart flipped, make that false. Spell it right. Okay, now so you see this this one here, this is the this would be the earnings date for NVIDIA, and then this is the one for Microsoft. Now, so if you want to take a step further, you might do something like, just to help make it a little bit more user-friendly. And now I'm getting into the weeds. So I was supposed to be off here. This is 13 minutes. I can do it. I can do it. Let's get it under 15 minutes using elsystem.drawingObjects. I'm going to come in here. We're going to do a text label. Text label, T label, null. Okay, so we'll just do it because we know the chart that we're on is gotta fire. We'll do it for this chart here. So for the one that was for Microsoft, we'll do T label dot create. We're going to create bar number point. Putting a label here. What bar number? BN. That's a function I created, and then we're going to call it, and we'll do it at the high, and then we're going to call it, let's see, can I do string.format? Because this is going to be a string, and then it's going to say earnings of, and I know this is going to get really cluttered, but I'm doing this for you. You guys figure out what you want to do with this code. All right, and then we're going to put, we're going to change this one, this FQP, fundamental quotes provider. We're going to make this an input. So to make it an input, all you got to do is go here, click in the box, and then click the I. It makes it an input. Do you want to create an input with a simple property? Yes. All right, and then now we can use I symbol. Copy that, and then when we get back over here to our label, we put the I symbol. Okay, and then close that, and then I think we have to close it one more time for the label, and then we have to draw the label on the chart. Drawing objects dot add T label, that, I know I did it way too fast. Let's see what did I miss? All right, drawing on T label dot create. T label dot create. Wait a minute, somebody's null here. Why is somebody null? This is your events log. Okay, so I just made it over 15 minutes. Come on, man. Let's get these errors situated and get out of here. All right, so t-label.create bm-point. Unless I just put this in wrong. Let me see. bm-point.create. We got the bar number. We have the high, comma, and then we got the string.format. That. We ended that. Close the parentheses. Close the second parentheses. Stop that. Drawing objects.add t-label. All right, that's it. Unless I did something with the you know what? Unless it didn't add Microsoft right here for some reason. No, it added it. It's got it as the input value. So status, open that up. Inputs. It's got Microsoft there. So that should be fine. And I shouldn't need to. The only thing I can see is me having to go and say t label equals new text label before I go down to the create, but I shouldn't have to do that. I should be able to declare it and kind of call it all at the same time. I guess not, because it liked that. Yeah, it liked it when I said once t label equals new text label. Drawing objects.add label. Add t label. This right here. There's got to be high of that number of bars ago. So this is probably on the chart somewhere. It's on the chart somewhere, but it's at some crazy high. I don't know where it's at, but it's on there somewhere. Well, no, it should actually be at that high right there. So let me do this. Let me try this. I'm just going to do this. Okay. No problem with hello. Flips equal true t label dot create point. Unless this is off for some reason. I don't think it should be, but nope. Okay, let's try it as, because I don't usually work on the higher time frame, the daily time frame. So maybe it doesn't like using the bar number for the higher time frame. I have found something similar to some issue similar to that before, but dt.point.create date time bar date time. Okay, so that should put it at the same place, but either way, it's not there. All right. So if last bar on chart, last x, then print. We're going to print drawing objects dot of, this is a text, so I think it's enumeration 3 dot count. Are we printing other stuff here. Okay, so it says it's got 0 objects on the chart. EOS system not drawing, EOS system not drawing objects. Huh. Tell you what we can do. So we're going to copy that and we're going to put it on every single bar. No dice. Now this is one of the easiest. This is a super straightforward script. I mean, to draw the label is nothing. So what I've got wrong here, I don't know. I bet I know now. Yeah. I did this last time. I don't know why I'm doing this, but yeah, so anyway, T label equals text label dot create. And I don't know why it doesn't give you an error on that either. So anyway, all right, so there's your hello right there. All right. Sometimes it just takes a very small little reminder to let you know what it is. Okay. All right, so there's your earnings there. Oh man, that sucks. Okay. Anyway, all right, guys. I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.